Kyle here from allmediareviews.blogspot.com. I'm here to tell a little story, maybe give a little update. Today's Tuesday, May, what is it, the 17th? Yeah, Kevin Gilbert's anniversary of his death. We once thought was on May 17th, and now it's on May 18th. May 18th actually is when he passed away. But you can see this right here. This is my Cat Latte. He's been a couple times in videos, like in the background and stuff. Love him very much. My wife and I took him in as a stray a couple years ago, and he's an indoor-outdoor. He's an outdoor cat. Now he's an indoor-outdoor cat. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with feline leukemia, and past weekend we had to take him in, and he unfortunately has developed a form of cancer, and so we don't know how much more time we've got with him. But we're making the most of it right now. But, life happens. He's a pretty young cat, we can tell he's maybe about 3.5 years old. But, he's lived his life to the fullest that we can tell. We've done everything we can for him, let him eat here, sleep here, and go about doing his business outside whenever he wants to. So, but yeah, whenever he does go, hopefully it's not as soon as we fear, but, we're always going to remember and miss. We're going to miss him. We're always going to remember him, but we're making the most of it right now. So, so this is a little unusual, a little different kind of video blog, but didn't really mean to, start this on such a kind of downer note. But again, life happens. So, a couple things that came in the mail. I got another copy of Pepe Deluxe's last album from 2021, Phantom Cabinet Volume 1 on CD. I talked about it already. I haven't gone over the whole booklet yet again still, but so I have 2 copies. Long story short, that I probably explained I think in the last video, my mail was held up back in December when I'd ordered it. I don't know, it was trying to be shipped here, and then I contacted the people I ordered from, and I told them about the situation. I got my vinyl, then eventually got the CD, but I think they may have sent another one because they thought that it just got caught up in the mail, and so I appreciate that. I don't know if having 2 copies. I love Pepe Deluxe. Maybe it's fine to have 2 copies, but got 2 copies, and I did get my copy of the Pure Reason Revolution album, Above Cyrus. Yesterday in the mail. I should probably open it too, and I've listened to it one more time, but I've been taking in a lot of the new music, because the music that came out this way. I guess I could give some stuff about that quickly, because the last 4 or 5 days, of course, have just been consumed by my cat and everything that's been going on with Latte, and so, everything else just seems kind of secondary. But this is, let's see what it looks like, and I just got it. But I got these 2 things. I could show them first. I saw these postcards from the band. Thanks so much. It's kind of a general statement, I guess. Thanks so much for the support. We hope to see you at our upcoming shows. Yeah, of course, because they're not coming to North America that I can tell. But yeah, the 3 people. That's Chloe, John, or John and Chloe, and then Greg Jong, the original member that's rejoined the band. Oh, this looks better. I've never done a video down here. But yeah, see, I'll just zoom into that. There are the 3 of them again. And then I got this postcard too, just new album out, a different picture. Pre-ordered now, of course, out May 6th. It is a big deal about Pure Reason Revolution having new albums, because they broke up. Them and Ocean Size broke up. I got into them at the same time around the early 2010, 2011, and it's like, well, will they ever come back? I remember, though, when they did announce their last shows, and I got that single I wanted to show, I think it was Valor, that they, split on amicable terms, and that they didn't ever rule out a reunion. So them reuniting and doing new music isn't that surprising, but still, whatever it's been, 8 years after they, or 9 years after 8 years after being broke, they did some live shows, and 10 years, 9 and 10, whatever, 10 years, 11 years, so. But the record, again, my take on the record is about the same. I'm still liking it, still taking it in, because all the new stuff that came out this past week still, it was, it's a lot of records. As I pointed out a few months ago that this May is this massive month, but it looks like it's just a standard black vinyl with the label PRR label. So, anyway, doing this in my kitchen because I was trying to think about taking the cat out, and we're not really supposed to let him out given his condition and everything, but his Latte loves being outdoors. I didn't even realize. So the back of the album has that same picture that's on a postcard. So you can see gatefold. Yeah, nice gatefold. Anyway, is there a download code? Oh, the lyric sheet, of course. Is there a download code though? Is the question. Oh, and the CD. Well, at least so I didn't have to buy the CD Sunday. Greg Jong there in the middle. You can see it looks really black and white, it is black and white, and then of course it comes with the CD. So I don't know, at some point I never got the Eupnia CD. I really like that album. I may eventually seek that out at some point. So, but again, no download code, which is weird. I mean, it's kind of a moot point given that there is a CD and I could always rip it, but it's like this album. Unless you're buying on Amazon Music or something like that, is not in an MP3 format, not in a digital. It's not in a digital format to actually own unless you have NFT. You can't buy it on their as a download on their Bandcamp as far as I know still. You just can stream it, which is just weird, but it's kind of unique in that way. So anyway, I have my computer here, but this is going to be some work, so I guess I could just sort of wing it with I was going to update about a couple of the new albums, which I did pre-order, thankfully. There haven't been a lot, but the gospel album, The Loser, well, I've only listened to it maybe 3 times now, because there were so many other records I was listening to on Friday. I was trying to catch up, but I think it's living up. It might even be exceeding the hype, despite there's a little issue with the cymbals clipping, but it's really good. Given the time, I probably have to be next week because tomorrow I'm bringing the cat into the vet and everything, and then I'm at work on Thursday and Friday, so at the office. So maybe next week. It's just my focus is on the cat right now. It's entertainment. Love it. It's like one of my biggest joys in life. But when you have a family member, cat, your pet is a family member, it just becomes trivial. But just getting back to The Loser, it's really good. And maybe I'm buying a little into it, sort of being so hyped up, and a lot of people, all the fan base being hyped up about it, but it just is the perfect blend of energy, the psychedelic prog elements with a little bit of a modern production, and just, that just raw, sort of driving, forceful, and that energy that you get from some post-hardcore. I mean, there's Circle T Square and Propagandy. You could even say At the Drive-In / the Mars Volta at points have some of the similar elements, but they just kind of take it to another level, and they kind of have their own unique blend or mix, and they do it really well. I still think Tango might be my favorite track, which I've been hearing for a decade, since 2010, over a decade. It's so good, but the song called Hyper, it's really good, and the first single, SRO, and I'm only curious about that 23-minute track, something Dark Matter, I forget the whole name of it, that they're going to release separately. But oh man, I'm buying into it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I was giving it 4. I'm like, no, this is so good. Every track is good. There's not really a weak track on there. They all have moments to enjoy. It's you really wait and get to the parts with the post-hardcore screaming, to the parts where the drum, the very bombastic. It's very math rocky. Almost like that band that Zach Hill is with, or Terra Mellos, or Fall of Troy. It has a little bit of that element, but they are a level up from those two bands. I never got into really either of those that much. They managed to combine that vocal style, that post-hardcore screaming style, with that math rock and psychedelic prog with those just vintage keyboards. So the other albums that came on Friday, besides The Loser from Gospel, the first album since 2005, Moon is a Dead World, 17 years. When I get my vinyl, I'll show it, but It was I should have my computer up. I'm just trying to remember now. War Paints, was it War Paint? No, that was the week before. Shoot. I should just let me just pull it up, I guess. There were 4 records. One of them was that band Church of the Cosmic Skull that some like Dave Richardson and his friend Ryan are talking about in the Marillion videos, and one of my friend Heidi likes them. They're coming to St. Paul in August. I don't know. They're like a bunch of different bands in one. I'm not loving them. I don't hate them. They have a retro sound. They're kind of a mixture of a bunch of bands. ELO maybe specifically, but like Polyphonic Spree or Cats in Space. I wrote a bunch of bands down. Let's see. Orion Experience, Night Flight Orchestra, Cats in Space, Big Elf. I mean, they use some Hammond B3 organ, and they're interesting, but they don't have like over the top element that I love, which is why I'm kind of struggling with them. But I remember hearting about 3 songs on the new record. Why am I spacing on the other records? Because The Loser was the big one. 0 Hours, Agenda 21, that came out. And I listened to about half of it, and I like it. I like hearing Eric Roswell with Jason Tipton doing the 0 Hour style, like the Towers of Avarice. However, it's a little bit of the same thing. That's the only issue. A little bit. I mean, I want to go back to it. That was the 4th record I listened to on Friday. But let's see here. There was 1 or 2 others that I was not remembering just a minute ago. I'm trying to think. It was Friday the 13th. Oh, that's right. This extra list. Tachys. I have not mentioned that. Tachys, Tachys, I think is Tachys, which is a collaboration of Jonas Berry from Mew, the singer from Mew, the front man, main founding member of Mew, of course, and this guy named Thomas Wildner, I think, from another Danish band. Let's just see here, because I just added it. I listened to it. It's a self-titled album. I don't know if it's going to be Jonas's main focus, since Mew is sort of. They did do a reunion last year. They did all of the Glass-Handed Kites, I remember. But yeah, Toby Wilner from the Blue Foundation, and I like parts of it. I mean, I like some of it. I would want to go back to it. I guess I would say it's maybe as good, if not a little better, than some of the other side projects that Jonas has done. He did that soundtrack, and he was in that project with a few different members of like Coldplay and Aha that I like, but I never got attached to. I want to listen to it a little more. It's poppy. It's very synth poppy. It has some Mew elements. I mean, go figure. It's kind of hard because Jonas does the majority of the vocals. What's his name? Tobias Toby does some of them too. So. I'm sure the Mew fans a lot of them are probably eating it up and loving it. I haven't checked the Mew podcast site on Facebook or the community, but if you're a Mew fan, it's definitely worth a listen for sure. And if you like synth pop or pop music and whatever, because I don't know when we're going to get new music. It could be a few years. Who knows? But let's see. So that Tachys album came out, I think that's the 0 Hour. Yeah, so I did get around to finally listening to, and I still need to go back to it again, the new Archive album, and then I need to revisit the Gathering album. But I've been off and on trying to listen to it, because the new Archive album is 17 songs, and it's like 100 minutes or something like that. It's a really long record. But most, if not every song is good on it. It's called, I haven't gone back to Abandonic or the King Gizzard record, but it came out a couple weeks ago in April. Where is it? Archive. It's called Call to Arms and Angels. So, if I do like a mid-season list, which a few years ago would have been now, if I manage to do it, it could be in June, late May or June. The Archive album has to be in consideration because it's consistently good, but it's almost their MO, where they just put out these records often, frequently. They've released a record like every 2 years since like 2010. And not all of them have been good. A lot of them are soundtrack. Not all of them has been as good as others, but they always have some songs you like. Their best records to me are Controlling Crowds and You All Look the Same to Me. However, this might be their best record since Controlling Crowds. Maybe Axiom. They did Axiom, which was a soundtrack a few years ago. That was much shorter. obviously, given it's so long of a record, 70, it's like the Ours record from last year. It's even longer though, but it's remarkable how every song offered stuff to enjoy. Maybe over some time it won't, all those songs may not hold up, but different kinds of songs. Some of it is trip hoppy, some of it is electronic or, industrial sounding, some of it is just kind of atmospheric rock, like a lot of their music is. So the Pink Floyd element shows up here and there. They've become more of like a trip hop band overall in the last decade. Probably Controlling Crowds had that element, but they did more of it even since. So, but yeah, I think the archive record is a little bit of a sleeper, and I'm happy. I want to continue to go back to it. It's just a matter of, it's almost like the Mastodon record last year. Well, it was a return to form for me. It's still so long. It was like, that album was like 85 minutes. It just, I didn't have enough opportunity and time to sit through it all, to get through it all so often that I never fully digested. Even like King Gizzard. The problem with King Gizzard isn't that their albums are too long. It's that they have too many albums. So, yeah, I mean, like this coming week, since I'm doing a video for another week here, we got, the big record is The Family Crest, The War Act 2, which, I don't know why I haven't received a download or anything like that. I figured my pre-order, since I pre-ordered it back in 2019. But anyway, I'll be getting in and talking about it because I pre-ordered it. And the other big record is Everything's Raw Data Feel, which they put out a video, I thought, or maybe it was like a scheduled video for one of their songs. But Everything's a little bit like Archive, or a little bit like some of these other bands that put out a lot of records. They've been so prolific the last decade. This is like their fifth or sixth record. I think their fifth record. Their last record was in 2020, so I like them. I have more optimism for this album than the new Foles record, sadly. I don't know about because the Block Party album that just came out a couple weeks ago, I actually kind of like a little bit of. I don't know if I mentioned that or not, Alpha Games, but I think given that Foles is sort of, the jury's out about what's going to happen because Foles has become a three-piece and there's new poppy style. Everything might be the primary band for my taste of that sort of math rocky kind of pop rock or whatever you want, post-punk or dance punk. I don't know. It's prog art, punk, art rock. Use your adjective. That style, that those three bands that I kind of look at Block Party was being the first one, although they didn't get as experimental as Foles ever did, or Everything. So yeah, those records are the big ones. Oh, and the Licorice Quartet's Threesome Volume 3. That's the third EP of 3 EPs. I want to buy the physical copy, but the new EP, which I think one or two songs were already showed on video. So yeah, there's those 3 albums coming out this Friday. I mean, everything with our cat and everything is just sort of giving me even, the more perspective and stuff. But, assuming I'm still kind of focusing on, I can look to maybe talking more about those records and maybe an update on a couple others coming next Monday or Tuesday, assuming I have the time. But, it's still up in the air about our cat, and, it's just, as life happens. It's not been easy for me over the last few days just trying to work. We had to bring him to the ER and have the procedure done when they drew this fluid out of him and everything. That's where we're buying him some time. But so anyway, I don't expect anyone to get a ton of joy from hearing this really unfortunate story that I'm telling about my cat. But the new music, any of this new music come out. If you've heard it, what's your take? What's coming out this week? Besides, I know that Evergrey has an album this week, and so does James Labrie. A lot of the prog people probably are gonna be really excited for both of those. The James Labrie album is called not A Pleasant Shade of Gray, but it's something like that. It's similar, which is ironic. But anyway, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.